Ramble.
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode.
Chris Pine Supremacy. Welcome to Guilty Pleasures. Today we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
D&D.
Honor Among Thieves.
Wow.
And sitting in for Kelsey today, who has, what is she?
She has strep throat. I think,
She has strep throat regularly.
yeah.
Anyway, Zach Noe Towers is here.
Yeah.
DNT, the better Zach.
Oh, no.
Kelsey's favorite Zach.
Maybe
what
that's
it's called.
true.
Kelsey's favorite, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen her naked?
No.
Okay.
All right. You have. So the answer is very clear.
Yeah, okay, so she likes you more, I guess.
Yeah.
He has like a good barometer.
We're talking about D&D. We're talking about
Yeah,
Chris
we
Pine.
are.
Whoa, Miles. Whoa.
We just said
Miles
we're tired,
hit the
and he's like,
lights.
you
Yeah.
think you're tired now.
Yeah, now you're fucking sleepy.
Wow. I mean, that was
Dramatic.
exciting.
That was very exciting. That woke me up even more.
We're
It felt
talking
like
about
you rolled a
D&D
D20.
on this after hours version of Guilty Pleasures.
So y'all watched the movie
Yeah, we
together
did. Yeah, we did.
last night.
Yeah.
I went by myself. I bailed.
Okay, that was very unfortunate
your
and
choice.
disrespectful, honestly.
You guys were seeing a 6 o'clock movie? I would have had to leave here at 5.
No, 7.
What?
It was at 7.
7.
What?
It was at 7.
7:20 with previews.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
You
then I
could've made
fucked
it.
up.
Yeah.
I think you
You
didn't want to
looked
go
at
over
the
the hill,
timer on.
and that's okay. I respect that.
Yeah. Also,
Over the hill is always
also-
a fun way to say into Los Angeles.
Okay, but Universal City Walk right now has giant warp pipes outside
For
the
Mario?
theater.
Yeah.
So
Which debuted at a 50%.
Yeah, I
How
know.
disrespectful.
we're gonna be talking about it next week.
Okay,
so.
yeah.
Have y'all seen it?
Not yet.
Okay.
You gonna
Oh
come
my
back?
God. Yeah.
I'm not as invested. Sorry.
Mario stuff?
Not really. I mean, I grew up with it, yeah, but I'm not. I
Yeah.
don't really.
Okay,
I'm not caring too much.
that's fair enough.
Dungeons and Dragons.
D&D.
I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons kid, and it honestly it was a regret of mine. The only time that I played Dungeons and Dragons, I loved it, and it
was
felt
really
like
fun.
it was a glimpse into a childhood that I could have had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything for you?
Absolutely. There was like there was a club in middle school where they would play D&D and a lot of tabletop games, and I played once or twice, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun," and then I never played again.
Which is so weird
Yeah.
that we don't play it because
Yeah.
it's fantasy adventure.
Yeah.
It's improv.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's getting
it's
play
just-
make believe, and it's writing.
It's just it's right. It's just being silly for a second. I think it's finding an adult or like somebody with the imagination of an adult to like do like I don't know what it's called, but the person who
Prep.
reads.
Yeah, like the dungeon master.
The dungeon master.
Is that
it?
accurate?
Dungeon master.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Oh no, am I the D&D expert in this?
Yeah, I
sure.
think you
Oh
For
boy.
sure.
are. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Is the only time that you've played that one game that we shot a video for?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
And I loved it.
Yeah, I went into this movie completely blind. So like all of the references, I wasn't
Totally.
catching any of them, but apparently it's chock full of them. Of course it is.
Are fans of D&D liking the movie?
Yeah.
Do we
Couldn't
know?
tell ya.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I don't work that hard, Zach.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I respect that.
Yeah.
We see the movie, we joke about the movie, we go home.
Yeah, we do.
Dungeons and Dragons, for those who have not had the pleasure of seeing it yet, is basically a fantasy heist movie. Chris Pine is a little scoundrel of a man. He used to belong to an order, but he turned to a life of crime. We meet him with Michelle Rodriguez. They've been imprisoned. They bust out to save his daughter, who has been kept up by the evil Lord something,
Yeah.
Hugh Grant,
Hugh Grant.
who we
Hugh
will
Grant.
talk about plenty. And they have to go on a series of magical heist adventures through dungeons, fighting dragons to save the daughter and get a tablet that may just bring his deceased wife back. Along the way, you've got a bunch of folks. You got Justice Smith. You got the girl from It.
Sophia
Lilith.
Lilith.
Something. We
Yeah.
wrote it down. And of course, the Duke
Yes.
himself.
Oh my God.
There's so much to talk about, and I want to start with Chris Pine because for many years, Garrick has been
Yes.
carrying this flag, beating
Yeah.
the drum.
he is the greatest Chris of our generation. He is the best Chris. He is top tier Chris. He is Chris Supreme. He is the only one I feel like that can fully carry a movie on his own. He rebooted Dungeons and Dragons. He rebooted Star Trek, and that's all I really needed. I truly think that he is the better actor of all of them out of the ones that are in the Marvel franchise and all of that stuff.
Wow.
So you're an Evans guy.
I'm Kris Jenner first, and then
Hilarious.
Would it have been funny though if the Kardashian family went through
counts.
the gauntlet
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
that movie?
Oh my God, I would love to watch this movie with just them.
Yes. No, I'm definitely Evans. It's purely physical for me. Like I'm
I get that.
very attracted to Chris Evans.
Yeah.
He hits all my buttons.
Yeah,
What about Chris Pine's luscious ass lips though?
he's got luscious lips.
He does, and I wouldn't
His
say
eyes.
no. I wouldn't kick him out of bed.
Right, that's fair.
Chris, what
I
are you
wouldn't-
doing in this bed? Okay, you
all
can
right,
stay.
Come on,
Yeah.
get
You little
in
rascal,
here.
you.
in
He does
here,
have
buddy.
gorgeous eyes.
Oh
His
my God.
eyes.
They're very piercing. The first time I saw Chris Pine, which was in the Star Trek franchise, the Star Trek trailer, I was like, this guy's got beautiful eyes.
Guy's hot.
This guy is attractive.
But
Look
Chris
at him.
Evans was not another teen movie with
I
the
remember
banana
that.
in his butt.
Yeah.
And that, as a young gay, was
Oh,
pivotal.
okay.
Do you think wouldn't the banana get too mushy in the
Would it
butt?
get soggy?
We
Yeah.
like to think it was a frozen banana.
Okay.
That makes
That's
more
fair.
sense. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you've thought this through.
I mean, if it's a
had an
pivotal
answer.
moment in the gay community, you got to think of the
We
logistics.
stopped, we rewound,
Yeah.
we paused,
Yeah.
we slow frame. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
this is the same as like the anatomy of Cars in the Cars movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Did they put a banana in Car's ass?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
it's funny to think though right now about Chris because he's carrying this movie that it's like it's an IP, but it's
Yeah.
not an IP that has any characters.
Yeah.
And just him being in it made me stoked for this movie versus right now you've got Chris Evans in a Netflix Ana de Armas movie where we're all like,
Right.
Wait, is that the red?
Ghosted.
Ghosted.
So you didn't even know
Yeah.
about
I
it.
didn't.
See?
I mean, the red. He was left on red, so it's technically Ghosted. But he was also in the
Ryan
Red
Gosling,
Man. Yeah,
or-
the Gray Man.
Gray Man.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
liked that. Did we not
I
watch
I
it?
didn't see
liked
it.
him in it. I think every time he plays like a villain that's like too posh or whatever, he kills it.
Yeah.
Like him in Scott Pilgrim.
Oh
Yes.
my
Yeah,
God.
so
Scott
good in that.
Pilgrim. One of the best.
So good.
So Chris Pine in this movie is so funny and charming
Yeah.
and stupid. And what I love too is that he in another world could be like the prototypical action star. And he decided instead, I'm going to play a character who has no strength, no talents. All I have is charisma,
Plan.
and I'm not even really good at that.
But I think it's a play on like all of the heist movies where they have a plans guy and you're like, okay, well, what the fuck do you actually bring to any of this? And then so giving that guy and the real weight of the movie and the real weight of consistently making plans to prove your worth. Because even in the Ocean's movies, Ocean just gathers everybody together, makes one plan, and then they kind of like,
Sits at the bar.
yeah, he sits at the bar, he chills. You kind of goes with
he
it.
also pretends to get beat up and then
pretends-
climbs through the vent
That's fair.
and
That's
does
fair.
his thing.
Yeah.
I
But-
watched it
Huge.
recently.
But in this, he's like Chris Pine is coming up with plans all
On
of the
the
time
fly,
on the
on
fly,
the
and it was
fly,
really
yeah.
cool.
I'm thinking about Chris Pine in contrast to Chris Pratt because Chris Pine, we've all turned on Pratt. And I was
Yeah.
talking to you guys about this before. You two are excited for Guardians 3.
Yes.
But it
Yeah.
feels like the general sentiment, compared to how huge it is, it's this mix of superhero fatigue and then Chris Pratt fatigue where we're all
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, that
Yeah.
thing is coming out. Versus this is an IP that no one cares about with
A lot of people care about it.
a supposedly...
A lot of people care about it. So many people care about it.
I know, but no one cares about it in terms of a movie. Like, there's no care. Like,
Right.
people who care about D&D care about their own D&D. There's nothing that seems to me to be that sacred going into this movie.
But I think the cool thing about like the world of D&D is that you can get things like Vox Machina, which is a show on Amazon Prime, where it is literally just a group of people's game that they are now animating. And I feel like you can do the same with this movie, where you can technically be like, okay, this takes place at somebody's table, and we're just showing you the tale and their game that they actually play.
It works. It's liquid. It fits in any container. I was confused that why did they name it Honor Among Thieves? Why wasn't this first one just Dungeons and Dragons?
Really bad title.
Right?
Yeah.
Really bad. Quite a mouthful.
There was one. There was one before this.
There was?
Yeah, but like in 2000.
Yeah. I think they...
Who was in that?
I have no idea.
And did it take itself seriously, I bet?
It took itself super seriously, and I only have the fuzziest memories of it. And I watched it, and I was like, that was kind of badass. I'm 10 years old, and I dig this.
I love it.
But even speaking to what you just said, like, does it take itself seriously? It's like this one fully did not.
No.
And that's what was so good about it.
The chubby dragon.
Oh
I
my
died.
God. That, like, okay, so I feel like, well, leading up, like, there was the opening, the cold open or whatever, and you had that, and then it was going back and forth, and then you see all of these animatronic practical effects characters, and you're like, oh, wow, this is very nice, good for you. And then you get past that, and then you, there's like a dead space in between the, like where it's just like, I don't know what's really going on. And then they kind of start on the journey to find everybody. Yeah. And then there's a cameo. And that's where things got great for me.
It is where,
Can we talk about the cameo already? Do we just go in?
I would wait till the end just in case people, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in the cameo, but it nails the tone from the jump. You have this like, really badass opening actually, where they have this prisoner coming into this snowy fortress, and there's all these chains, and you see how dangerous and how scary this guy is, and they put his chains on this track on the ground. There's this big orc looking guy. I was gonna let you go. I was gonna let you talk.
No, I thought you were saying I looked like the guy.
No.
What? Disrespectful.
Kind of like a Zachnoy Towers type orc.
Yeah, really big and ugly.
and he goes into a cell, and there you have Chris Pine knitting and Michelle Rodriguez eating.
Whoops.
For sure not the Destiny's Child member.
Michelle Williams is practicing her backup moves.
Yeah.
That would be... I'd watch that movie too.
I would watch the fuck out of that movie.
Oh my God.
No, you have Michelle Rodriguez, Letty herself, eating a potato.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Right.
And Chris Pine is being his witty, charming ass self.
Super charming.
Letty is being her badass self. She doesn't like her potato time being interrupted. She beats the fuck out of this orc, and Chris Pine's like, told you so. You know what? I don't think this does need fingers. I'm going to make it mittens. And you're like, I'm fucking in.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, just that scene, like, where the orc comes over to her. He's like, I've never been a cellmate with a female before. What's going on, lady? And then she kicks both of his knees in.
Yes.
And then he falls down to his now removed knees, and she slams his head on the table.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most badass introduction to any character, I feel like. Since John Wick. I don't know.
When it's like, and it sets the scene from the beginning that you go, oh, she's the badass, and Chris Pine is going to try and talk his way out of things, and is going to fail. And I just wish more action movies realized and remembered and knew that we like characters for trying, not for succeeding. And this motherfucker fails constantly.
All the time.
Over and over. And it's the best. It is truly the best. Even right after that, when he is telling his story and telling his he's trying to appeal to the court so that he can get out of prison,
waiting for Jonathan,
waiting for Jonathan, and he's just like, and he keeps on pausing the story. They cut back to him. It would go to the story, cut back to him. He's like, I'm really waiting for Jonathan. I feel like he's the one that really would understand this. Jonathan comes in after a while, and then you see it's this bird creature, and
a practical effect bird man in a suit.
So
good,
satisfying,
so good. they're like, oh, obviously they're gonna use him to escape. So they grab him, jump out the window, and use his bird wings to escape. And then right after that, the court is like, we weren't going to pardon you.
That was amazing.
That was so good.
But it was that, or it was either take that risk or another 2 years before their next parole hearing.
Right, that's
so
fair.
it was like, literally, I have to like err on the side of not being paroled.
Right.
So a quick overview of the cast. You've got, obviously, the two that we mentioned, but you've got Hugh Grant, Justice Smith. Fuck, what's her name? Lilith something?
Oh, Sophia Lilith. Is that it?
Sophia Lillis, who we keep calling Lilith Fair over here. Reggae. I mean, there's so many people, but honestly, what made me most excited was the behind-the-scenes talent.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've got our boy from Freaks and Geeks, John Francis Daly, in the writer-director chair.
Yeah.
Did you know this? Did you watch Freaks and Geeks?
Did you watch Game Night?
Yes, I love Game Night.
Yeah. That he directed that one as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is the main character in Freaks and Geeks, our little boy, and he's all grown up. And the fact, I mean, he went from Freaks and Geeks,
he's a man.
Disappeared, was in Bones for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Or wait, was it Bones?
I don't know.
Miles,
I
was
just
it
said
Bones?
yeah because you sounded convincing for a second.
With David Boreanaz.
I'm doing
with
a bad
Emily
job
Deschanel?
today.
And
Yeah, he was in Bones. Okay,
cool.
He was in Freaks and Geeks as a little kid, disappears, joins Bones, gets his syndication check, disappears, and says, guess what? I'm a writer-director.
Yeah. And I
Game
write.
Night.
And I'm doing great. He wrote Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And he
just-
wrote, I think in Game Night, one of the best delivered lines of all time. How would that be profitable for Frito-Lay? Like that, do you remember that? All right, never mind. I feel like I ruined a moment anyway.
It was a
No,
good moment.
never.
Garrick, someone is listening to the podcast at home and just went,
Cackling.
No.
they feel you.
Oh, they
Or
don't.
at least someone from Frito-Lay got real
Yeah,
excited.
somebody's like, we got a plug on Guilty
Yes!
Pleasures.
I feel such a distant parasocial attachment to him where I'm just proud of this man that I've never met. And he's very he's obviously super accomplished, but in my mind, he's still a little kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, look at you, John Francis Daly.
go.
Look at you go. But he's a fucking big director now. It's awesome.
He's a big boy. He's also huge. Isn't he like 6'4" or something?
He's a little boy.
Oh, he's little?
Forever.
Okay. All right.
Is he a tall king?
I think he's a tall king.
Wow.
That kind of makes me like him less.
He's a tall bishop.
Do you feel threatened, Miles?
A little, yeah.
Yeah.
How
I
tall
don't
do we
like other
think
tall
he
people.
is?
Well, we're all optimists, so we'll say 6'4".
I guess 6'4".
I don't know that they have that information
I
online.
love looking up how tall people are.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's
Wild.
shocking.
my favorite.
It's shocking.
It's shocking.
I love
According to the internet, he's a solid 6'0".
Oh, wow.
Okay.
All right. I love looking it up because then you get to see how forced perspective works.
Yes.
So it's just like, oh wow, you guys are looking the same height, but you're not.
Yep.
Amazing.
Who do you want to go on to next?
Oh, I guess Michelle Rodriguez. And I mean, this is where all of the action comes. Most of the action
all
comes
the
from.
fighting.
All of the fighting. The first real fight scene that we get of her is them escaping after getting recaptured.
Yeah. They're about to be executed.
They're about to be
Beheaded.
executed. They're about to be
that
beheaded.
was great. She's asking all the questions about the executioner's axe.
Yeah. And
He's like, huh, about to him, like, I like
wait,
your axe.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
just keeps on distracting him while you see her little fingers trying to loosen a rock.
dig out a brick from the cobblestone or
Yes.
whatever. And then you just watch her beat the dog shit out of like 10 men. And Chris Pine is literally just trying to fucking rub his ropes off.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The whole fight scene.
Yeah.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I am constantly learning new things about myself. It's kind of one of the great joys of life. And getting to know yourself, of course, can be a lifelong process. It is, because we're always growing and changing. Look, I mean, you've been watching me for, 9 years? I've changed a ton, both on camera, but just in my personal life. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we want or why we react the way we do until we've talked things through.
BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. It's why I love having my BetterHelp sessions once a week, and what I love most about it is that it is flexible to my schedule. I'm all over the place. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time to find someone who is right for you. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/guiltypleasures today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/guiltypleasures. It is kind of amazing. I mean, I called her Letty because she'll always be Letty in my heart, but she feels like a fully different character. We don't think of Michelle Rodriguez as a great actress. You think of her as an action star, but she... for being in this iconic franchise, Fast and Furious, she now comes into this and is like, no, I'm a totally different character. I'm this hulking, brooding woman who is a total fighting badass. My real question, though, do we think Vin is proud or jealous?
Oh, he's for sure upset.
Because I don't know if you know this, Vin Diesel is one of the biggest Dungeons & Dragons players, fans on the planet.
He's got to be so upset.
I think that he's pissed.
That's wild they wouldn't work him into... He fits somewhere in that universe.
He's too big.
He's too big.
He would take over the movie.
He's too much.
You can't just slot in a little Vin.
Well, someone else big was slotted in.
Yeah.
In a very fun way.
Exactly. And that person doesn't have an ounce of the star power and charisma.
Do we love Vin Diesel in this house?
Are you?
Yeah.
Whoa. Zach.
I mean, he's pitch black.
Yeah.
I like that.
Pitch black.
Vin Diesel, we stand in this house.
Who doesn't fucking love Riddick? Like, just put the goggles on. Oh my
God. The pacifier.
He got it here.
Find me guilty.
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez's character was great, and then the ending. I don't know if I want to jump to the ending because I feel like if we go from character to character, we do the entire arc of everybody, and then it spoils it a little bit. So I'll come back to her character because it is a really beautiful ending.
It was nice.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that one of the biggest sells to me to see this movie is Hugh Grant, who has gone from being a 90s heartthrob to fully deciding that he wants to be a flamboyant villain for the rest of his life. And it is the most joyous career turn that I have ever seen.
I love it. He's just like, I just kind of I want to be a weirdo.
I want to be a fucking weirdo.
I want to be a fucking weirdo.
I want to wear kerchiefs and ascots in every scene.
Yeah.
And I'm going, that thing I did in Paddington 2? I'm going to do it again.
Every fucking time I get a chance. Every time I get the chance, I'm going to be a weirdo.
I'm just going to be a little weirdo in this scene.
Yeah,
it's too British. It's not how Hugh does it. Let me try that again.
It's so kooky.
I'm going to be a little weird. Nah, see,
no,
I don't have it.
No,
I can't do the way Hugh does it.
Yeah.
But even just like the little.
That's why he books.
And that's why he books.
That's why he fucking books.
He fucking books.
Yeah, there is a huge reason, and you just explained it.
I would watch him in every movie.
Yeah.
I think that he might, at this moment, be my favorite actor.
Wow.
After this, I'm like, oh my God, yeah.
You're delirious.
You
need to take a nap.
You're delirious.
Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, think about what he did in Paddington 2, right? Yeah. The fucking range. And then he just comes into this movie and is just weird all over the place.
Yeah.
His little cameo in Knives Out 2 titillated me, made me levitate. And I want him in everything.
Yeah. He's like a British person's Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it fucking is.
Okay.
He's British Jeff Goldblum.
Which is not the career path that I saw coming for him.
No, not at all.
It is, okay, because most actors play one archetype their entire life.
Yeah.
And he had some weirdo roles, but for the longest time, he was, again, heartthrob who was like, I'm a bad boy, but I actually have a heart of gold underneath. And had to find it. Like you think about him in About a Boy, like that was his journey. Like bad boy who needed to be reformed. Right. Now he's like your eccentric Aunt Myrtle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think honestly, if he were to do like a British remake of Mrs. Doubtfire, he would kill it. Like in a weird kind of like, No. Don't even.
Maybe he was like the grandma. If he like did a grandma switch.
Yeah.
He is giving excellence.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's wonderful.
Yeah.
I just love him. There's like even just little details. There's a moment where Chris Pine's getting interrogated, or he's like held captured by like a tentacle, and like Hugh Grant comes and like
with a kerchief.
Yeah, with a kerchief to move a tentacle off his face.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something. I feel like that wasn't in the script.
That's a Hugh Grant.
That's
move.
a Hugh Grant moment where he's like, "Oh well, my character wouldn't touch this."
Right.
By the way, I got the accent back. I crushed that.
Wow.
Play that back.
Okay, you're both on a veil.
Yeah, I'm booked now too.
Again, the tentacle, bringing up the practical. I loved how many practical monsters there were. And I loved it.
Yeah. I really, really fucked with it because it feels true to the spirit of Dungeons and Dragons, where you are seeing a bunch of people dressed up sitting around a table and like kind of just pretending that this thing exists. So trying to be as real, quote unquote, as possible feels good and correct. Yeah. That the tentacles, the cat woman.
Oh my
her
God,
baby.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot.
So the Duke from Bridgerton. So he, in this movie, as he should, plays the hottest man who's ever lived.
Yeah.
And
who talk about bad boy, good boy.
Bad
he
boy,
like straddles the line.
Bad boy, good boy?
Hugh Grant vibes.
He literally does straddle the line because he was almost evil, and that's why he had the marking on the top of his head.
Right.
Yeah.
But they introduce him as like this holier than thou character who like he walks the earth, and I don't dabble in colloquialisms. Like he's a man of the book. And that's what he does. And so the way they introduce his character is there's this big practical fish on a dock, and and Reggae, the Duke, parts the crowd. And there's this cat woman who's going, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
And he goes down to the fish and he goes, "Shh." He puts his hand on the fish's head. The fish opens his mouth. He reaches inside and pulls out a baby. And it's a baby cat person.
Yeah.
And he gives the cat and he goes, "Be well now." And you're like, wow, this is the greatest man who's ever lived.
It's so fucking funny because he doesn't, it's almost as if every time he's in a scene, he doesn't break from that moment.
Right.
It's always this like aura of around him every time
you can hear the angels every time he's on screen.
It's so fucking funny.
I'm also just realizing the subversion of it would be a cat who swallowed a fish.
Yeah.
But a fish swallowed a cat.
Oh, that's clever.
I didn't even think about it.
I was just so caught up.
Very good. Also, the fish practical effects.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it made me think of it.
So good.
Frankly, my biggest complaint of the movie is that Reggae is not in enough of it.
Yeah.
He comes in, he has his one little great adventure, and then goes, "I bid you farewell."
Yeah.
And
his exit was so funny.
Oh my God.
Remind me.
When he's walking in a straight line. And, uh-oh, there's a big rock. Is he around or over? And he walks over the rock.
He's going
like
over
jumps down.
He's going over it.
It's
so funny.
He might. Well, Zach, you tell me. I think he might be one of the hottest people alive
for sure.
right
That's
now.
just common knowledge.
They said that his face is the most scientifically attractive face.
It's like symmetrical or something.
Yeah, something crazy.
I just it's crazy to have a movie with Chris Pine and then someone else gets on screen and you go, "Oh, this guy, that's the hot guy."
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of crazy. I didn't even think about that because like
you see the two of them together and by the way, Justice Smith too, who is a chameleon and we'll talk about, but like Justice Smith could be the hot guy. He's not the guy. You have all these hot guys and then Reggae comes on screen, you're like, "Oh, that's a man."
The hot guy. I don't know. I will say though, Chris Pine is kind of aging out of
what?
Listen, Hollywood is so cruel to women. They get until they're about like 26, and then they're like, "We got a new Margot Robbie. Move over, bitch." And but with like Chris Pine, he's like, I don't know. It'd be like Indiana Jones, like one of his last adventures.
Listen, Big Zach. You couldn't be more wrong. You couldn't be more wrong. I think he's aging like fine wine.
Sure.
It's great. Like I genuinely think.
You ever open a 2012 Pinot?
Yeah. I just think that the older he gets, the better he looks, and he has the weirdest face out of all the Chris's.
Let us tell you who the hottest guy is.
Let us let you know what an attractive man looks like. No, I genuinely just think that because his face is so weird and works, it ups him a little bit. You know,
sure.
it's like a genuine.
He's unique.
Yeah.
He's a quirky girl leading man.
He's a quirky girl.
I saw him in a coffee shop over the weekend.
Oh
Wait, this weekend?
This
Also,
last
how
weekend.
why
was
didn't
he?
you text us?
Miles.
I gotta say, what's
Miles,
that? What?
You saw him this weekend?
Oh yeah, it was. I think it was like right before you were near my house too.
I was near him.
Yeah, you were near him, and I'll say he's a lot smaller in person.
Yeah, I could tell you that.
We fucking stan.
He was hot looking. Like he had the whole
Yeah.
thing. He had like a collared shirt, sleeves rolled up, hair's looking fresh.
How? Okay, tell me. Compare. I'm gonna stand up for you.
Small to you.
Yeah. How,
That
is
Is
true.
he like me?
He's your size. I felt like he
Because,
was kind of your size.
I think he was smaller.
Let's
but he was
fucking
like
go.
Michelle
Small.
Rodriguez's
Yeah.
size. They were
Yeah,
like
they
pretty
were
much
like high
parallel.
Yeah.
Which is great.
This is exhilarating.
And that's the second time I've seen him in the wild at a coffee shop in my neighborhood.
Does
Yeah.
anybody bother him?
No, I didn't. No one was going up to him.
Next time, could you drop an Apple AirTag on him?
Hey, whoop! Put in his shoe.
That's a lot of espionage for somebody that doesn't think that Chris Pine is the hottest Chris.
Oh yeah,
Listen.
an AirTag.
I
Huh?
didn't say I wouldn't go through his trash can.
But so the fact though, one thing I do appreciate is that they did not try. Maybe this is because he's aging. They didn't try and
Wow.
attach a love story to him, and I that made me happy.
I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
And can we talk about that? How close are we to the end of this? Because I would really like to get into where this ends up with the.
I think we can
non-love
talk.
Yeah,
about
I think
it
you can
now.
talk about it.
We're
You're about
entering our
30,
spoiler
30 minutes
territory.
in,
Yeah,
and if you
Yeah,
want to watch a movie,
if
that's
you haven't
spoilers.
watched the movie, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the movie right now, Michelle Rodriguez's character passes.
At the very end, she gets stabbed.
She gets stabbed. His wife, for context, his wife passed away when his daughter was a baby. And then he has to make a decision with this new tablet if he wants to bring back his wife or his daughter's surrogate mom.
Yeah.
Which
Michelle
is,
Rodriguez, yeah.
yeah, which was Michelle Rodriguez. This is a person that raised them together, or they raised them together.
And
as
there
like
was a
friends.
revelation as it was going on. Is like, you're not going on this quest
Yeah.
to bring back my mom. You're
Yeah.
going to bring back your wife.
Your wife.
You don't care about being a good dad.
No.
You just want the love of your life back. And
Right.
it was a really lovely subversion to that in a way that I don't think I've seen this exact story play out, where a dad is going on a quest and it's about realizing that he needs to love his daughter more than he loves himself.
Yeah.
A deadbeat dad of sorts.
Onward did it in a very beautiful,
so good.
fucking. Oh God,
I still haven't seen
you're
it.
the oldest brother, so
Onward
you,
is also like a D&D movie too.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
it is.
good.
It's the same
And
same
so that
feel.
and so that worked hard for you at the end.
hard.
Yeah.
Hard,
it was nice. It was really lovely.
Very, very, yeah,
Of this movie?
Yeah.
You guys saw it coming though, right?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
That
sure,
they'd
for sure.
have to use the tablet for
For
someone,
someone
other
else.
than the
Yeah.
the person we don't
Yeah.
really know anything about.
Honestly, no.
Really?
Oh wow.
It didn't occur to me that someone else was going to die.
Yeah.
I thought maybe the daughter might. I knew someone. You know what
Somebody
I mean? I was
has
like,
to die.
someone we care about,
Right.
is gonna
Yeah.
die.
Right.
But it was smart. And it's like, oh, yeah, that is the person who has raised her. That's the person who's the most important to her. And it also then just kind of plays with these themes of like, live life now, don't live.
I thought you were gonna say live, laugh,
past.
love.
Live, laugh.
Yeah.
Look, man, what I learned about playing Dungeons and Dragons, you got to live, you got to laugh, you got to love.
Yeah.
you do.
Real quick, just one more point to Chris Pine being the hottest Chris.
He is the hottest
We
Chris.
do, after the beginning, we do meet him as a single dad in a bar, which
Yeah.
is Garrick's dream.
That is my dream.
What do you mean? Being a single dad in a bar?
At a bar. Yeah,
Is the
with,
hottest- the hottest guy
that's
that
the
you could
hottest
be.
that you get as a man.
What?
Being a widow
Zach, let me tell you what's hot.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Please
saying.
explain to me exactly what that he's like unshaven and has like Cheerios.
And he's
Cheerios
just
in
like
his
sad.
beard.
It's just like, hey, I really need to fix that man, and then there you go. And then several.
First of
people
all,
throw
the
themselves
hottest
out.
man doesn't have kids. Period. Full stop.
I don't know.
Full stop.
I don't know. You see a guy at the end of a bar.
Sorry, Miles.
rocking-
You,
Wow, this is
rocking
actually
a
the
little baby
second
girl.
time that Zach has.
Miles is just
Yeah.
so
This is, and no, to be
heartbroken.
clear, this is the second time Zach has to me been like, well, you are a father, so you therefore are.
Oh, it's
No.
so new. I didn't even
Unsensual.
catch it.
Do you have the receipts for the first time?
I do. It was on my podcast.
I'm gonna just double down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that
fair.
for you though. That having a dad makes you less fuckable. And you know what? Honestly, respectable.
Respectable.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You ain't trying to home wreck.
Oh no, God no.
Very nice.
Kids? Are you kidding? What?
You even, I asked you if you had a pet the other day and you were outraged.
No.
That's a goldfish would be too much
Yeah,
responsibility.
we're keeping me alive in the house. That's what we're focused on doing. Aliving and thriving.
I love it.
Justice Smith, I think, might be one of the most versatile young actors working right now. And I mean that because if you just go on, if you Google him.
Have you seen what he looks like looking around, walking around?
No.
Is it closer to Generation?
No, he's
Justice?
he's very handsome.
Well, that's
Oh,
what, but
yeah.
what I mean, if you look at his Google images or just look at his projects, he
Jurassic World.
plays everything.
He was in that Thriller where the girl was being stalked across, like someone was looking into their apartment.
Huh?
Yeah.
He can play.
Oh yeah, he's hot as hell. Actually,
He's fucking hot as hell.
I was at a screening on last Friday. He was in the screening.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And was he hot as hell?
He was hot. He was very like dad at a coffee shop vibes. Kind of like hoodie, scruff.
Dad at a coffee shop,
Low-key.
less hot than dad at a bar, just to be clear.
Sure, alcoholism makes everything a little bit hotter.
Oh no.
But it's crazy, like the amount. I mean, you look at the difference between him in this, where he is an insecure dork, to Detective Pikachu, where he's like a little young
Yes.
rapscallion, to him in Generation, where he is
A queer youth.
like an icon, where you have him in The Get Down,
Yeah.
where like it's just this guy is all over the place and in a way that I don't think many actors are able to pull off.
Fucking British in this. Like he puts on a full British accent.
He did.
For the entire movie. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that Justice Smith was actually British. And I looked him up. He's like, he's from California.
Take that, Brits. We can do your accent
your
too.
voice.
Voices too, you motherfucker. No, I'm kidding.
You hear that, John Boyega? We can do your fucking accent. I don't know why I went after him.
Yeah, that's kind of
he's
kind
a
of wild.
sweetie.
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
This is very hurtful. You
I
should
like
go
him
after
actually
somebody.
a lot.
Yeah, I like
He's
him a
really
lot.
nice.
But keep that in. Keep
Who's
that
a
in.
British guy? Who
Clive
does-
Owen.
You hear that, Clive Owen?
Yeah.
We can fucking who
Jude
else?
Law,
I
maybe.
also like Clive Owen.
I do
And
too.
Jude
I love
Law.
Clive. I can only think of actors I love.
Yeah.
Wait, is Russell Crowe a twat?
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
But
Say
he's
Russell Crowe.
Australian.
He's Australian. Fuck.
Which is a problem in and of itself.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the game show. Who's that British person?
Who sucks? That's what we're trying to find.
All right, let's think of a British Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he's a really good actor, he's a dick.
bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's British and he does all sorts of.
What about There
So
Will
you
Be
hear
Blood?
that, Gary Oldman?
Saw
Yeah.
Gary Oldman at a Guitar Center with his kids.
Who was the cameo?
Oh, it was fucking Bradley Cooper playing a little hobbit. It was so fucking funny.
Oh,
It
that's
was
great.
wonderful.
So
was-
Michelle Rodriguez goes to see her ex, and Bradley Cooper is a halfling. That's right. I know my Dungeons and Dragons.
wow.
And so you have this big, hulking, bulking Michelle Rodriguez and a maybe 1 foot tall Bradley Cooper.
So funny.
Yeah, with his little weird mustache. And Bradley Cooper is gonna go down the Hugh Grant route of just playing
Weird guy.
very
Yes.
That's
weird
awesome.
characters. The fact that he is a halfling and a animatronic raccoon.
Yeah,
is
right.
so
Wet
crazy.
Hot American Summer.
Yeah, he's really
Again,
great.
He's
Yeah.
really gay.
That's a great
Limitless.
point.
Yeah. he is limitless. I
at you.
Hey.
But in this too, he is also the nicest man who ever
Yeah.
lived.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he has this. It's really good to see you.
Yeah.
I hope you're well. And
Yeah.
this is like in the middle of the
Gwyneth
movie.
Paltrow
They-
level.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
fully stop the movie to just have this emotional heart to heart. And then like his new wife comes in, and then Michelle Rodriguez goes, "Does she make you happier than I do?" And he goes, "Well, she doesn't make me cry."
That's great.
It's that closure, that coming together of like an ex-wife meeting or her husband again, but the roles are completely swapped because he's tiny.
It's so funny.
Also, you get one of the greatest little cap jokes at the end where they're getting honored and Michelle Rodriguez meets another halfling and she just bites her lip and goes,
She wants a fuck halfling. I guess. Why?
Everyone has a type, man.
Everybody has a type.
It honestly, to see the short king representation in this film filled my heart with glee. John Francis Daley may be a six foot freak, but at least he knows in his heart what
He's a short heart.
He has a short heart.
He has a short heart.
Wow.
And you know what?
Sounds like a disease.
That's why I like you, Miles, too. You know, you're a tall man with a short heart.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I apprate that.
We give you a pass. Unlike Keith, that freak of a beanstalk.
He's got a long heart.
That also sounds like a disease.
Yeah, long heart.
He's got long heart disorder.
Sophia Lillis, the girl from It, the redhead, she is in this. She's fantastic in it. She's great in this. She's a shapeshifter who can do different animals.
Owlbear.
Owlbear.
That was
so sick.
best.
That was so sick.
Oh my God. And actually, I just remembered there's some really good set pieces in this movie.
No, there's a ton.
The one that my favorite, so they have this like portal gun. It's like a staff.
Hither.
Hither, zither.
Hither, thither.
Hither, wither.
Hither, thither.
Tither, smither.
Hither,
The D&D heads are really mad at us right now.
Someone's having an aneurysm.
It's fucking hither, thither.
And it's basically from the video game Portal.
Yeah.
You go pew, pew, and you can go through. And as a result, there's this one heist scene where they're trying to sneak treasure onto a moving carriage.
Yeah.
And
so great.
they, oh God, it was so freaking cool and satisfying. They pew, do a hole in the ground, and then I don't even remember how, but they pew, do a hole in the bottom of the carriage.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to like pull them up, and they're undoing the hammering.
Well, what they put a hole on the painting.
Yeah.
And then they stick the painting to the bottom of the carriage, and then they put the thing,
flips it, flips it around.
Flips it around.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was really, really.
It was
cool.
a mind. It kind of fucked my mind up a little bit.
And I love that type of shit because Portal 1 and 2, those are some of the greatest games of all time.
Well, and they did the portal thing in an earlier scene, and then when they brought it up as a solution again, I'm like, oh, come on, guys, this is lazy.
But then,
just like it got more and more satisfying.
Yeah.
I was really
and then
into
it wasn't a solution.
It wasn't a solution at all.
At the last minute, it got fucked up.
Yeah. Because Plan A had the stink on it, and then they went to Plan B, and
Plan
that
B
failed.
also had the stink on it.
Also had the stink on
and
it.
then they went to Plan C, which was just Plan A, but with a new name.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they went to Plan D, which was Plan B again.
Yep. It was sick.
Wow.
So good.
Your recall is fantastic.
It's our job.
Yeah.
It's our job.
And it is important work, no matter what anyone says.
Yeah.
We get paid a modest but fairly respectable fee to read ads in between talking about movies.
Yeah, we do.
So hot.
It's mostly a hobby, but it does technically pay for my groceries.
Hell yeah.
Well, Zach
That's all
shops at
you
Air
need.
One.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You shop at Air One?
No.
Okay.
No,
it's
I'm
like,
just kidding.
you're making way too much money.
I did used to go to the hot bar at Air One when I wanted a little treat.
Just a quick $300.
Oh my God. It's wild.
I want buffalo cauliflower, but I'd really prefer to pay $30 for it.
Oh my God.
How much is Erewhon really?
So expensive.
I've never I keep on hearing
It's
that
amazing.
Like the buffalo cauliflower is like legit $22 or something
for cauliflower.
for like a serving.
The thing that is the most egregious about Air One is like produce.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like
crazy.
a pack of blueberries should not be $15. It's like that, and I'm maybe exaggerating, but not that much.
Not that much. It's like, and it's also the thing that's shocking about it is you go and you want it.
and
You really
it's very
want it?
good.
Is
And it is good shit, but
Are
it's
they-
not worth that.
Are they like saying that it's produced in a certain way or like it's sourced ethically or something crazy?
Gwyneth Paltrow's standing there just handing them to you
It's just
going,
in
this is
Air
clean.
One.
No, they need to explain to me why this costs so much.
That's
It's from
fair.
the ground.
Here's what it is. It's like
It's from the fucking floor, technically.
it's the farmer's market, but then you're paying a premium for it being always open as opposed to
Oh,
one day a
okay.
week.
Did you come up with that?
I did.
That's brilliant.
you should work for Airwalk.
That's
what it is.
exactly what it is.
But the appeal of a farmer's market is that you're staring the farmer in the face.
Yeah.
Not some kid with a fucking septum piercing
Yeah.
giving you groceries.
I saw Patton Oswalt at the farmer's market this weekend.
We've name dropped so much in this episode.
He was shopping for honey.
That's awesome.
What an adorable.
He's a hot little
fucking-
honey.
Anyway, I'll wait.
I thought about saying hi to him, and then I didn't. And then the week prior, I saw Lily Singh at the farmer's market, but she was walking fast, and I decided to not say hi.
Someone you know, like a
Yeah,
friend
no,
of
like
yours.
a friend.
Yes, and you
I
said-
just was like, ugh, I don't want to catch up in the middle of a farmer's market. I don't want to do that to her. I could tell that it was her day off, and I just... If I think about it now, maybe she would have been delighted to see me. But
Well,
I
they
feel
would
like it would have been like, hey, how are you? Whoa, I mean, I'm good. Like, ugh, you guys
Yeah.
seems like that was crazy. Yeah.
Lily Singh is listening to this. Like,
What the fuck?
wow.
Wow. Is
Zach,
that what you
Zach
think
big
of me?
timed her.
Zach, big time to you. Yeah.
The guilt I would say about this film is that it is endless.
Way too long. At the end of the day, it's a comedy, and it just shouldn't be 2.5 hours.
It's a 2.5 hours, but it like has a fully satisfying climax. I'm
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
I've climaxed. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, remember that plot line that you barely care about? Because by the way, there's a red witch lady.
Yeah.
We didn't mention it because you don't really care.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, right, we got to go on a whole adventure to do that too. And you're like, there's a no.
No, you got the stuff.
We got everything we want.
Yeah.
We're riding off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Oh.
Although that fight scene was, again, like
It's
I
very
wasn't
cool.
mad at it.
It
Like
is
it was
very
a
cool.
good.
It was all good.
But you're right. When it was happening and Hugh Grant was going one way and she was going the other, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what does she want? Like
Yeah.
I was totally confused as to her goal in
then
the movie.
her face started. She started to get older, so I guess she was like a descendant of the first dude that did this.
Truly couldn't care less.
Red cloud thing. I don't care.
Turns people into zombies or turns
Yeah.
people into
To
them?
mindless like
Okay.
zombies.
As it
yeah.
was happening, Maggie like went over and whispered to me one time. I'm like, I don't care, but I think we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Something tells me we're gonna be able to follow the movie just fine.
Like that whole plot line at the end, it felt like when you walk out of your house and you're like, I forgot my keys or something like,
Yeah.
oh, damn, I forgot the paper or some bullshit. It's like I kind of want. I don't know if I should go back. I don't care, but also I need to finish this. I need to do my plot line or get my
It's
keys.
almost also a result of there being so many satisfying set pieces.
Yeah.
That you almost by the end go, well, I've gotten my fill.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
good. So you have all these incredible fight scenes. You have this great, cool labyrinth scene that is
I
in all
forgot
the,
about that.
all the
Forgot
posts.
about that.
Right.
There's like a Hunger Games aspect to this movie for like 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And so you're just like, I'm fulfilled. I've gotten my money's worth. And it's almost the movie's giving too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an embarrassment of riches.
And I think that wow.
You
Great
have the
turn.
heist scene that we talked about.
Yeah.
You have like there's just a lot of really cool,
So many,
satisfying finale set pieces.
Some would say too many.
I think that this is one of those movies where they're like, no, we're going to play to the target audience a little bit more, because I'm sure that during all of those things and the parts with the Red Witch and all of that stuff is more appealing for D&D players. It's like, thank God
maybe.
that they're pointing out all of these different aspects of the
Sure.
game that we play.
Like a huge villain that you might encounter that a 20 roll or whatever.
Right. And it's just like, is that it? I don't know. Is that how the game works? But I feel like they would have wanted a 2.5 hour movie, whereas we were like, we were good at like
Yeah.
hour 45.
I was in for the comedy and the fun and
Yeah.
the goofiness. And there is a lot of really satisfying goofiness. One of my favorite bits, they have to raise the dead in
Oh
order
my
to
God.
ask some
God, so
questions.
fucking funny.
To find some helmet, it's part of some quest. But for whatever reason, you can only ask 5 questions. And so I feel like first draft of, if someone else wrote this, they would go, it'd be a fun, spooky scene. It's over. Instead, they make it this drawn out thing where they keep asking questions by accident. The person dies. Fuck. Now we got to go dig this person
Yeah.
up, and this person doesn't know the answer.
Yeah.
And like they start, and it's like,
So I just ask questions. Yes. Oh no, does that count as one of my questions?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, and like
yeah, just
I
like
only answer questions that I'm asking. Do you understand?
yes, dead.
yeah. You only have one question left. Okay, well, what should I ask him?
Him.
Did you ask him something? Does that count as a question? It didn't. He dies. It's so fucking funny.
That's the part in the trailer that made me feel safe going to the movie.
Oh.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be like silly.
Okay.
I didn't know that was in the trailer.
I didn't know that was in the trailer.
It was.
Another guilt I'll say, real bugaboo. The advertising for this movie fucking sucked.
Yeah.
But again, the advertising was for D&D players, like putting the monsters that you recognize from the game on the billboards.
I don't know that you do
That's-
Dungeons and Dragons a little more. The billboards are specifically what bummed me out. There's this like panther with telekinetic whatever.
And that's like a very popular thing in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I actually think that that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Like, so
I was literally talking about this at work.
Okay,
yeah. They were just saying like, oh, we play, or like a couple of them play and all that stuff, and they saw the panther and like, oh, the whatchamacallit makes it in this one. That's
there's
crazy.
so much lore. Like, I played D&D every single week for 2 years straight.
Jesus.
And I played with the same group. We played a bunch of different campaigns, and I don't know anything about the telekinetic panther. But I would say that like I play D&D. So there's just so much. There's so
too
many books.
big.
There's so many monsters. You can play an entire campaign and only get 10% less.
Yeah.
You know, it's infinite. Okay. So like probably in the more well-known, there's like a thing called like Curse of Strahd and whatever.
Right.
There's books that will play you through an adventure.
Yeah.
And if something is in one of those, that's probably like how people get started.
Oh,
I just, it feels to me like the studio didn't know what to do with this movie. They got scared. But the fact that like you basically just call it Lord of the Rings Guardians of the Galaxy, right? It's like fantasy, or Game of Thrones Guardians of the Galaxy is probably more appropriate. It's like fantasy world, goofy ragtag team led by Chris Pine, and also we've got the fucking Duke in here. You're telling me you have two of the most handsome men of all time, and you're not throwing their faces on billboards. Instead, you have this like jungle cat. The fuck?
Okay, so that's fair, but I also wouldn't know what this movie is.
I was gonna say, how would you advertise for it?
There was Monster Hunter. It came out or was supposed to come out. I don't even know.
Monster Hunter movie?
With
There was a
Mila
Monster Hunter.
Jovovich?
Yeah.
I saw it on a cruise ship.
Okay, see? But there were billboards for that, and I was just like, what is this? It's just people I know wearing armor, and then the title of I've played Monster Hunter a bunch, so I know, but me coming into it, I don't give a fuck about the actors. I want to see the monsters. I want to see the dragons. I want to see the lichens that I'm like fighting throughout the game. I would rather see that. Is my only point.
I feel like, I mean, granted, it would feel very derivative of Guardians, but you do like a lineup of like Chris Pine looking like, and he's holding like a guitar, his little mandolin.
Yeah.
And then you have Michelle Rodriguez as like a badass. You have
And then Justice with like
his
powers coming out
map.
of his hand.
And honestly, like their stat sheet too.
That would have been very cool.
You know, it's like
And
Chris
then
Pine's character, and you're like charisma, plus you get all the numbers. So it's like, oh, this person, you can get like little jokes like that.
And then you have like some witty ass catchphrase like, they're
gonna roll the dice.
rolling dice for your booty.
I guess maybe like a description that's like, a joke that gives you some insight into who they are. But if you were trying to do both, it's like, it's Chris Pine. Be able to do it. I don't know. Let's leave it to the marketers, huh?
I think Chris Pine is also aging out because he wasn't shirtless in this movie when he had ample opportunity to be shirtless. Telltale sign.
Aging out of what?
What?
Just aging out.
Life, Miles.
I just
aging out from being like a young buck.
I just think he's too old to be on steroids anymore.
That's also true.
He's not
He would
gonna
die.
Right.
Yeah.
So bye bye the sexy spy leading guy.
It is, you know what?
You guys are upset because I'm right. That's the thing.
No, you don't have to be strong to be sexy.
Okay. Body positivity has entered the chat. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There was no shirtless scene, and you know what? That's, honestly, I don't know. I can't remember seeing. Was he shirtless in Wonder Woman?
No.
Have we ever seen Chris Pine shirtless?
Shirtless.
Chris
Really?
Pine?
There is definitely Chris Pine.
Maybe he has
shirtless
like
somewhere.
5 nipples.
Oh.
Maybe he's got like
Might have a
something
scar.
going on, and he's like, nah, man.
Not
The Pine
happening.
don't do shirtless.
He
Maybe
gets-
he's so hot
Yeah.
that they thought it would be distracting.
Yeah.
Fair.
Because you think about his character, he's supposed to be like kind of goofy.
Yeah. And
Kind of like
goofy-
why
goofy
I don't
guys
take my
can't be
shirt off
hot,
anymore.
right?
No.
Because you're too buff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, that's the same reason I don't take my shirt off in Try Guys videos anymore. Because
Yeah.
it's like I'm supposed to be the funny guy,
Yeah.
And then
And
you're
if
the
I'm
hot
to-
guy all of a
and
sudden.
if I'm
and that's
shredded,
just like
it's
that
just
changes
not-
the dynamic.
It really does.
People can't follow it.
Yeah.
Right. All right, y'all ready for some fun facts?
Yeah, we
So
are.
ready.
This movie is set in the Forgotten Realms.
Oh, okay.
If that means something.
Oh my god, I thought that was
Sure.
just like the setup.
No.
Yeah.
So we've got some cameos in here. Paul Scheer
Yeah.
showed up as the painting that they were trying to smuggle. And I was like, what is that?
That was
Oh,
very funny.
And I wonder if he was like cut out of the movie or something, or if that's just he's.
He might just be a D&D person who was just like, can you please just put me in this in any way, shape, or
please.
form?
Yeah.
I would like to know, how that came about. We've also got Rage Against the Machine guitarist Tom Morello. He must also be a fan. He made a cameo during the arena sequence. I don't remember that.
Probably when all those fancy people are around the board game, like making bets.
Yeah, or maybe he's one of the people that got killed or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
in the cage.
That's fucking sick that Tom Morello is in this movie.
This is a bit of a oopsie doopsie because she turned into an owlbear repeatedly, but according to the current official rules of the Dungeons & Dragons tabletop game, a druid cannot turn into an owlbear.
Oh, fuck.
A druid can, in fact, only turn into a beast and eventually an elemental. But the owlbear is classified. So that means the owlbear is a real thing in the Dungeons & Dragons universe.
It is definitely.
It's a monstrosity. And a druid character cannot take the shape of that particular creature.
wow.
Do you think that
That's
that
upsetting.
is an inside joke of them being like kind of like when people play Uno and they're just like, no, you can stack cards. I don't give a shit. I'm going to be able to do this. I can stack, draw twos
Go
on
rogue.
you. And they're just like, no, I can turn into I can turn into an owlbear. I'm a druid. I can turn into whatever the fuck I want. And it's just his like wink at hating the rules.
Yes, I think 100% because that's a very common thing. The owlbears are really cool looking, and everyone always wants to turn it into them.
Also, it's like women can be whatever they want.
That's very true. They can be owlbears. They can be president.
I believe that women can be owlbears.
Yeah, you get up on that soapbox, Zach.
So this is the fourth Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Fourth.
Was there
That's
one
a-
in like the 90s that was shitty as hell?
Yeah, there must have been. I can't believe that there's been four. So this one has gone through a bunch of hands. There was at one point Joe Manganiello wrote a version of the script. Unclear if any of his script has been used in this, but I know that he is a huge Dungeons and Dragons
American
fan.
Gigolo?
Surprised he's not in this, to be honest.
He's also definitely bitter about it.
Yeah. Because it's like his whole thing is that he hosts like celebrity D&D games for
Wait,
like
who is
high
this?
profile.
Joe
Joe
Manganiello.
Manganiello.
Oh, yeah.
Did we talk about that on this show or on the tripod?
I think it was on
No,
this
we
show.
talked about it
because
on
I'm
the
Magic
show.
Mike. But he
Yeah.
hosts like high profile D&D games, so it's really weird that he's not
With
a part
Vince
of this.
Vaughn, the
Yeah.
Benioff
happened?
and Weiss.
Do you think he was just unavailable at the time?
No,
Maybe.
but he wrote I think he wrote a script. They rewrote it, and he's like, "I'm not going to be a part of that
Maybe.
sham movie that's making a mockery of my love." Like, I bet you his was serious.
Yeah, probably.
There were a couple directors attached to this at different points. You had Chris McKay, Rob Letterman. Rob Letterman was set to direct with Ansel Elgort cast as the lead.
That would not have been good.
Disgusting.
Oh shit! This is a fun fact / question. Was that a Tame Impala needle drop at the end in the credits?
Oh, we left immediately. Wait, we saw the credits roll, and then me and Kelsey were kind of like walking out, and then we heard the tag at the end of the movie, and then we like went back, and then we just left.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you it was Tame Impala, and if it's wrong, then Miles will tell me
And
and
that's
edit it
another
out.
fun fact.
Yeah.
Then that's a fun fact.
Fun fact: Tame Impala loves D&D.
Hell yeah. And then I will tell you that our boy Justice is the only guy not using his natural accent, and it was so good that he fooled kooky man Hugh Grant.
Wow.
Wow.
Justice Smith, you are this generation's greatest actor.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this movie has all my
because
favorite
we-
actors.
We lost the other one.
I think this is the best cast.
Yeah.
I think this is the best cast that's ever existed.
Wow.
Wow.
It's like, because here's the thing, the movie's not the best movie.
Mhm.
It's good. It's fun. It's wacky. And I think that if we're just delighted that it's not another Marvel movie,
Yeah.
and we're delighted that these beautiful souls found each other?
You know what? I wasn't going into it thinking like, oh, this is not. I'm over Marvel things. I just went into it like kind of blind. I was just like, I don't care. Why not?
Fresh and fun.
I was just delightfully surprised.
It is rare that there's a high budget movie at all that's fantasy that's not attached to any existing lore, though.
And
I guess it is attached to existing lore, but
It's
like,
funny. I keep wanting to call it not an IP movie, but it's very much an
of
IP
course.
movie.
It is one of the biggest IPs.
It was like Hasbro presents.
Yeah, right.
I'm glad that this scrappy little
underdog of a film.
well, now's the time we must decide: is this film a pleasure, guilty pleasure, or just plain guilty?
You know what? The only thing that I cannot get over is the length. That pissed me off. Not pissed me off, but it exhausted me. So I like left like whatever joy I felt in the middle or beginning was kind of like watered down by the end because I was just like, okay, like sure. It's like when a little kid comes to show you their art project and you're like, that's so cool. And they want to see another one. I'm like, nah, okay, sure.
Wow.
So guilty pleasure.
Damn. I would say it's a full pleasure, mainly because if I said guilty pleasure, it would put it in the realm of like movies that aren't good, but like I fully enjoyed.
Yeah.
Or just like, oh no, I can see what's great about this movie. I think this movie was very, very well done. And to call it a guilty pleasure is like a knock on how much effort went into it.
Sure.
You know, like I feel not trying to knock what you're saying at all, but just mainly like the practical effects alone.
Yeah.
I feel like puts it at a pleasure. It's just so much effort went into it. It's
I'll give it I'll give it a P as well. It's not my favorite movie, but it's just a delight.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And I mean it's saved by its humor, its charm.
Right.
You know, if we were making the stat sheet for this movie, charm would be through the freaking roof.
It's so charming.
You like that?
just
Mike?
not a D&D thing at all. Charm would be through
Like
the roof.
Charisma. It's charisma, right?
The intelligence roll would be a natural 20.
There you go. Right. I was thinking, kind of,
right.
I guess, almost.
Yeah, it's fun. It's delightful, and the cast is great. And Chris Pine's the hottest Chris, and we did it. We solved.
got it.
We solved hunger throughout the world.
Figured it out.
We're going to talk about our pleasures. These are things in media that we're enjoying. Zach, this is new since last time you've been here. Just anything else that you're watching right now and enjoying. I want to jump in first because if you guys have been listening to the podcast for a long time, you know that I am the one that has always loved Secession the most. Season 4 is great. I actually got Garrick into the show. He's finally started it, I think.
What? What's going on?
And,
Anyway.
and
Okay.
it's a great show, and I just wanted to be on the record that it's my show, not Garrick's.
Oh wow.
Watch Secession.
Okay.
Yikes.
I told Zach to watch Secession. No, I'm kidding. My pleasure this week is Shrinking. If anybody has ever seen a billboard or a trailer or anything like that, and it's just like, I don't know what this movie is. I don't know what this show is. It looks kind of quirky or whatever. It's got Jason Segel. It's got Harrison Ford. It's got Jessica Williams. It is very, very delightful. It is about a broken therapist, and it's not going down the route that you think. And it's extremely funny and extremely well done.
New Bill Lawrence joint.
New Bill Lawrence joint. It's very, very good. The dude can just write a sitcom.
Mine is the Royal Crackers.
What the hell
It's
is
a
this?
new cartoon.
Ooh.
It's like a cracker dynasty family. Like they have like the best crackers, and it's like an R-rated cartoon, and it's like very like demented and funny, and like goes insane places.
What is this on?
It's you can watch the first 3 episodes that are out now on HBO Max.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of
it's
this.
an Adult Swim.
Delightful.
It's very funny.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I gave Secession season 4, which everyone's like, yeah, we fucking know.
Yeah.
Basically a wasted spot. You're coming here with dropping knowledge.
Yeah.
Zach, it's always a delight to have you, and you are now the new permanent co-host
Oh, hell
on
yeah.
Kelsey's other show,
Oh, yeah.
Confidently Insecure.
I thought you were telling me something I didn't know. Yeah. Confidently Insecure. New episodes every Monday.
Hell yeah. Anything else you want to plug?
I'm headlining the San Jose Improv on Wednesday, May 3rd.
Yeah.
Woo!
So come see it.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Zach, where can people find you?
At Zach Noe Towers everywhere. ZACHNOE TOWERS.
I'm at Corny and all things.
I'm at Garrick Bernard on all the things.
And I'm Kelsey Darragh on all the things. And until next time, I just rolled a perfect 20.
It's not a line from the
That's a
movie.
cut.